He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vansha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhayavacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namo Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakti Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gaurvani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshitarane. Hare Krishna. So Krishna is giving the conclusion of what he has already spoken, detailed and discussed in Bhagavad Gītā. Anyone should not be having any ambiguity or confusion. So Krishna is reiterating, he is reinforcing what he has already said. So we saw Krishna spoke about Arjuna inquiring the question of difference between Tyaga and Sannyasa. But actually both are same. In Krishna's opinion, Tyaga and Sannyasa are essentially the same. How? Because what Krishna is emphasizing, that for any Tyag, that is renunciation or sannyas, what is most important is to give up desire to enjoy the result or the fruit of his work. So Krishna spoke and discussed about renunciation, which is of three types in the three modes. There, Shil Prabhu, Manoram Prabhu has not joined. Call him. Where is he? And today we'll go forward from the 10th verse. Na dveshti akashalam karma kushale nanu sajjate tyagi sattva samavishto medhavi chinna samshaya. Before coming to the 10th verse, so in the conclusion of this Tyaga in three modes, Krishna declared that prescribed duties must be performed with the mentality one should act without attachment for the result. This is the most important aspect. Bhagavad Gītā stresses on karma phala tyaga, not karma phala bhoga. Karma phala tyaga. So why you are performing job? To maintain those who are preaching and propagating Krishna consciousness. You will earn and they will spend. You do not have the right to spend. Otherwise, karma phala asakti. That is why the best is to be brahmachari. You don't have to earn. Others will earn for you. You just have to spend. Okay. So now Krishna is again emphasizing that one who is in that mode of goodness, what are his special characteristics? The first thing he says, Na dveshti akushulam karmaha. Dveshti means to have negative feeling. Dvesh, envious feeling. So such a performer of prescribed action, he has na dveshti akushulam karma. Anything which is inauspicious or unfavorable. Kushale nanu sajjate. And at the same time, he is not attached. Sajjate means to be attached. Na Sajate means he is never attached. To what? To Kushale. So anything which is unfavorable, inconvenient, he is not envious, or he is not negative, or he is not having any aversion. Very important principle of Bhagavad Gītā is attachment and aversion. What Krishna says? Raga dvesha vimukteshu. A person who is in spiritual consciousness, who is in transcendental consciousness, he is free from two aspects. One is rag, is attachment. Attachment to what? Kushale. Kushale means that which is favorable, that one likes, or that one enjoys. So that means he becomes attached. But na kushale, na nusajjate, and na dveshti akushalam karma. So that which is favorable, he does not become attached, or that which is unfavorable, he has no aversion. How? Tyagi sattva samavishto. Because he is a true renouncer. What is he renouncing? Aversion and attachment. Who is a true renouncer? Who has become above attachments and aversions. Such a person is medhavi. You know the word medhavi? Outstanding, exceptional intelligence. China samshaya. He has, chin means who has completely cut off. Samshaya, all doubts. The intelligent renouncer situated in the mode of goodness. So this is the characteristic of a person who is actually in the mode of goodness. And how do we see that the person is in the mode of goodness? That he is in the renounced position. That is why Mahaprabhu said, Prabhupada also speaks, that everyone should take sannyas. What sannyas actually means? This is the meaning. Neither attachment nor aversion. Situated in the mode of goodness, neither hateful of inauspicious word, nor attached to auspicious word. Has no doubt about it. So he has full conviction. Whether it is convenient or it is inconvenient, whether it is favorable or unfavorable, in any case, he has to perform his duty. A person in the Krishna consciousness or in the mode of goodness, Prabhupada, see how he introduces the mode of goodness. A person in Krishna consciousness or in the mode of goodness. So that means the person who is Krishna conscious has to be compulsorily, the threshold limit is minimum mode of goodness. And if a person is in goodness, what is the purpose of being in mode of goodness? That he should be Krishna conscious. Does not hate anyone or anything which troubles his body. This is very important. What is akushalam karma? That which brings kashta, that which brings trouble or suffering to the body. So he does not hate that. That means he is ready to do his duty, irrespective of however inconvenient it may be for his bodily comforts. He does work in the proper place and at the proper time without fearing the troublesome effects of the duty. So Krishna is deeply analyzing that one must come to this level of duty consciousness. And I was seeing the commentary of the Acharyas, just a couple of verses. So what is troublesome to the body? The most troublesome one aspect the Acharyas that mentioned to the body is to wake up in Brahma Muhurat in the time of winter and have cold water bath. Prabhupada talks about it. When Krishna is speaking, Matra Sparshas tu Kaunteya Shito Ushna Sokudupada. Very early in the Bhagavad Gītā 2.14. Prabhupada quotes two examples. One is that in the month of Magh, although it is very troublesome to take cold water bath, but a spiritual practitioner, he never ever hesitates. Now, what is the second example he gives? Why only there she has to answer? Other than not studying or hearing Bhagavad Gita? Yes, Ganesh Prabhu?
Prabhuji, Mataji has to cook in the summer season
Yeah.
kitchen.
Yeah. Prabhupada says that the housewife, she has to cook in the kitchen in the hot month of May. She should not desist or assist. We have seen mothers, they are so loving and caring, they have never ever cared whether it is hot or cold or rain or pour or whatever. So at the level of duty, there is some affection. But at the level of desire, they're very dangerous. So Krishna is saying that the first thing that the performer is free from the desired result, attachment to the desired result. So he rejects the attachment which comes with the desired result. So he is able to perform duty. And second, he is also devoid of doership. Very difficult. At the platform of doership, if the same duty becomes unfavorable, he cannot perform. He will run away. Till the time it is giving him puja, labh, pratishtha, he will perform. But as soon as that service or that duty becomes the cause of criticism, what he will say? Chodo yaar. Kyun apna sar phodna? Why am I wasting my energy and time? That is not sattvic. That is Rajas. Such a person situated in transcendence should be understood to be the most intelligent and beyond all doubts in activity. How much Krishna is appreciating such a performance? Medhavi. A beautiful verse Krishna is saying. Krishna is acknowledging such a performer to be Medhavi, outstanding. Next verse. Any question or any doubt? And he says he is beyond doubt in all his activities. Chinna samshaya. Also previously Krishna has talked about Chinna samshaya in one of the verses. Very prominent. Anyone remembers? I am reviewing with you Bhagavad Gītā. And it is a relish. Krishna, how much he has already emphasized and what is again and again repeating. Why? Because the conditioned soul can accept what Krishna is instructing here in Bhagavad Gītā. Well, last verse of the 4th chapter, 4.42. Tasmad ajnana sambhutam Ritstam jnana chinatmana Chitvena samshayam yoga Takto tishta bharata. Chitvena samshayam yoga. Chinna samshaya. So what Krishna is emphasizing here, that one should not be influenced by bodily comfort or discomfort. Duty means one is above the bodily platform. He is above the mental platform. He is above the desired platform. And he does it out of his inclination, as an obligation, without any favor to anyone else, for his own purification. Such a performer, Krishna says, is Medhavi. Then next verse, 11th verse. Nahi debhita shakyam tyaktvam karmani asheshata yastu karma phala tyagi satyagi iti abhidhiyate. Nahi debrita sakhyam. Debrita means one who is embodied. What is embodied? The soul is embodied. What is not sakyam, which is not possible? Tyaktam karmani asheshata. Tyaktam means to give up, and karmani means action, and asheshata means fully. So that which is embodied, it is not possible for the embodied to give up all kinds of activities fully. But one who is yastu karma phala tyagi, but who actually renounces the result or fruit of his work, satyagi iti vidhiyate. Let's look at the translation. It is indeed impossible for the embodied being to give up all activities. But he who renounces the fruit of action is called one who has truly renounced. So many times Krishna is emphasizing on this principle that one cannot give up the activity. It is not recommended. It is not possible. Not just recommended, because it is not possible for the embodied to be inactive. But he who renounces the fruit of action is called one who has truly renounced. It is said in Bhagavad Gītā that one can never give up work at any time. This principle also Krishna has already established when he is speaking the Karma Yoga. Very early in the Karma Yoga section of Bhagavad Gītā. Famous verse. We have discussed that many, many times. Which verse is this? Yes, Ravindra Prabhu.
Nahi kaschit.
Yes, nahi kashit sharamapi jatu yanti akarmakit karate hi avasha karma sarve prakriti jardana. One is forced to act. How? According to the nature he has acquired from the three material modes. So the influence of three material modes will force him to act. So how to act? In any case, one cannot cease. One cannot give up all actions. But what one has to give up? All the results or the rewards. Very, very beautiful verse. And very, very outstanding purport. This purport became the source of inspiration for me to give up my professional life. I read this purport very early. And this purport gave me so much of courage and conviction that it became possible for me to give up whatever little material success or so-called attachment I had. Prabhupada says, therefore, who works for Krishna and does not enjoy the fruitive result, who offer everything to Krishna is actually a renouncer. Prabhupada says, there are many members of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness who work very hard in their office or in their factory or some other place. And whatever they earn, they give to the society. Very, very inspiring. Whatever they earn, they give to the society. Such highly elevated souls are actually sannyasis. The Prabhupada is blessing. That such souls are actually sannyasis. And they are situated in the renounced order of life. This is actual sannyas. Karma phala tyag. It is clearly outlined here how to renounce the fruits of work and for what purpose fruits should be renounced. I even know some of my Grahastha, God brothers, and even some others, devotees, who are still following this example. They would hardly retain 10 or 20%. But it requires purification. It cannot be done abruptly. It requires very close guidance. Karma phala tyag. And one who is not able to do that, one who fails to do that, what is his outcome? Which is the next verse, 12th verse. Anishtam ishtam mishram cha trividham karmana phalam bhavati yatyaginam pretya natu sannyasinam kvachit. So what results come to him? First is anishtam. Prabhupada is very heavy. Prabhupada says, leading to hell. One who is trying to enjoy the result is on the path to hell. Then ishtam. Ishtam means if anishtam is leading to hell, then ishtam is leading to heaven. So that is what Prabhupada translates the word meaning. And mishram cha. Mishram means mixed. Neither to hell nor to heaven. So where he remains? Here. Yes, planet Earth. So there are trividham karmana phalam. That is the phala, the result or the reaction. Trividhi. To whom? Bhavati atyaginam. To those who are atyagi, those who are not the true renouncers. Pretya means after leaving this body, or technically we call as death. So how he will experience the results of being a tyagi, of not being a renouncer? That in his next birth, there will be anishtam, ishtam, and mishram, all three. All three. That is why we see materialistic people, however they try to be happy, they cannot be. Why? Because there is anishtam. But in even the deepest of sorrow, they have some hope. They have some, aspirations to enjoy. Because with anishtam is ishtam also. And as soon as they try to enjoy, it gets spoiled because it is mishram cha. See how graphically Krishna is explaining everything. So if you have not learned the art of being detached and renounced, then you are forced. You are forced to experience all three. So for one who is not renounced, the threefold fruits of action, desirable, undesirable, and mixed, accrue after death. After death. After this body is over, all the karma phala is not over. So karma phala will continue from the next body, according to what karma you have performed in this body. And what is that karma phala? Anishtam, ishtam, mishram cha. But those who are in the renounced order of life have no such results to suffer or enjoy. Natu sannyasina kvachit. A person in Krishna consciousness acting in knowledge of his relationship with Krishna is always liberated. Therefore, he does not have to enjoy or suffer the result of his act after death. Short purport. Very important. If you don't become detached, Prabhupada used to say that if you don't become detached, you will be kicked out. Kicked out. Before you are kicked out, you kick on the face of death and renounce. So that you don't have to face the consequences again in your next life. Panchetani mahabaho karanani nibodhe me sankhe kritante proktani siddhe sarva karmana. So there are 5 factors for actions, for all the actions. Very important verse. Panchaitani Mahabaho Karanani Nibodhme. Just, O mighty armed Arjuna, according to Vedanta, there are 5 causes for the accomplishment of all actions. So all actions that we perform, there are 5 factors or 5 contributing elements which enable every action to take place. Now learn of these from me. A question may be raised that since any activity performed must have some reaction, how is it that a person in Krishna consciousness does not suffer or enjoy the reaction of the world? The Lord is citing Vedanta philosophy to show how this is possible. See how Krishna gives evidence. Again and again, to Arjuna, he is convincing us that he is not speaking something utopian out of the hat. What he is speaking is exactly in line with what he has already stated in the Vedas. So he is talking about Vedanta. The Lord is citing Vedanta philosophy to show how this is possible. He says that there are 5 causes for activities and for success in all activities. One should consider these 5 causes. That Krishna will speak in the next verse. We'll take that verse. So he's giving the background. He's preparing the foreground for Arjuna. Sankhya means the stock of knowledge, and Vedanta is the final stock of knowledge. So Sankhya, we have so many times discussed the delineation between matter and spirit. And Vedanta means the conclusion. And Vedanta is the final term. Prabhupada's, he has such variety. Prabhupada uses such variety and vocabulary in his presentation. So he is not saying is the conclusion, Vedanta. Anta means the end, or the final version, or the conclusion. And Veda means the knowledge. So that is Vedanta. It is the final stock of knowledge accepted by all leading acharyas. Even Shankara accepts Vedanta Sutra as such. Therefore, such authority should be consulted. Krishna is also consulting. Krishna is consulting what? Guru Sadhu Shastra. Krishna himself is establishing the standard, even while speaking Bhagavad Gītā himself. The ultimate control is invested in the super soul. As it is stated in Bhagavad Gītā, Sarvasya Chaham Hidasannivishta. He is engaging everyone in certain activities by reminding him of his past actions. How? Why this verse is quoted? Sarvasya Chaham Hidasannivishta. And Prabhupada said the ultimate control is invested in the super soul. Who can make sense of what Prabhupada is quoting here? Are you with me or with Prabhupada? We should dive into Prabhupada's purport. And we should try to see why Srila Prabhupada is quoting, why he is mentioning this statement here. Krishna is discussing about 5 factors and Prabhupada is talking about super soul. And what it means that he is engaging everyone in certain activities. Yes, Sonika?
Once we have told that in our heart there is super soul, Lord remains there as super soul, and whatever we think, whatever we desire, he is the eyewitness of that. He knows everything. So according to our desire, if we desire for devotional service or anything, he will guide us. And similarly, Prabhupada has quoted that means he has quoted that Lord can remember, means give us a memory of previous birth or something,
Yes.
accordingly.
Yes, very good. So Krishna as the super soul in the heart. He says, Matta Smriti Jnanam Apohanam Cha. So what he does as a super soul, he guides the soul to begin from where he was in his previous life. As situated, okay, he is engaging everyone in certain activities by reminding him of his past actions. And Krishna conscious acts done under his direction from within yield no reaction, either in this life or in the life after death. So what are those 5 factors? Adhishthanam tatha karta karanam cha prithak vidham vividhascha prithak cheshta devam chevat panchama. So first is adhishthanam. What is adhishthanam? The place. What is the place of action? How do we act? What is adhishthanam? What is adhishthanam, Pradeep? How do you perform an action?
Through body, bro.
Yes, very good. It's through the body. The first is adhishthanam. Then tatha karta. Karta means the doership. Then karanam. Karanam means the instruments. Or what are the instruments for performing action? Our senses. Knowledge acquiring senses and working senses. And cheshta. Adhishthanam tatha karta. So first is the place, which is the body. Second is karta, that is the performer. Who is the performer? Who is the performer? Yes, Sanika?
Soul.
Yes, very good. It is the body, the soul, the senses. Okay, see, the place of action is the body, the performer, which is the soul, the various senses, and prithak vidam, within various endeavors or efforts. Cheshta. Here it is a prithak vidam. And vividascha prithak cheshta. Different kind of endeavor. And devam chev atra. Deva means the super soul or the supreme. There are 5 factors. One is the body, second is the soul, third is the senses, fourth is the various endeavors, and fifth is the super soul. There is not only one doer. Not because of one, any or every action is happening. There are 5 factors involved in this. Very important to note that how ultimately one acts. The word adhishthanam refers to the body. The soul within the body is acting to bring about the results of the activity and therefore known as karta, the doer. When we say karta, the doer and the soul, that means in what position he is? He is in the mithya abhiman. He is guided by false ego. He is not on the spiritual platform, he is on the material platform. That the soul is the knower and the doer is stated in the Shruti, Esha hi Rishita Rishta. It is also confirmed in the Vedanta Sutra by the verse, Gnovata Evaha and Karta Shastrartha Vatatvat. The instrument of the actions are the senses, and by the senses the soul acts in various ways. For each and every action, there is a different endeavor. But all one's activities depend on the will of the super soul, who is seated within the heart of Atman. The Supreme Lord is the super cause. Very interesting. The Supreme Lord is the super cause. Under these circumstances, he who is acting in Krishna consciousness under the direction of the super soul, situated within the heart, is naturally not bound by any activity. Those in complete Krishna consciousness are not ultimately responsible for their actions. Why? Because they are executing on behalf of their superiors. So they are not responsible. Like a cashier who is counting in the bank. He is not responsible. If the collection comes 10 crore, can he make a claim? Today I collected 10 crores. Does he take any credit for it? No. Or if there is 10 lakhs the other day, can the boss come and criticize him, you rascal? You are good for nothing. You see how much less business we have done? No. He has no trace of doership in his action. Why? Because he's just executing what he's been told. He's just an instrument. He's completely detached. If more comes, he does not gain. If less comes, he does not lose. He's completely impartial and neutral. So one who is acting in Krishna, so please understand this is a very deeper principle. So as we apply the principles of Krishna consciousness as we are told, so we become free from doership mentality. We become free from the desire to enjoy fruit. Anyway, you cannot enjoy. Because the fruit is offered to the one who is giving you the duty. Can you enjoy? You cannot enjoy. It is enjoyed by the person who gives you the duty. But as you cooperate, you get the feeling of happiness. So how karma phala tyag can come? If one is acting under guidance. He acts as he is being told. Then it is possible. Otherwise, it is impossible. In any case, those who are embodied, they cannot be free from action. They will have to act. And what will be the action based on? Doership. And doership means one has attachment to enjoy the results. There is no way they can become a kushalam and kushalam. Beautiful verse. Na dveshti akushalam karma, kushale nanu sajjati. It will never be possible. Those in complete Krishna consciousness are not ultimately responsible for their action. Why? Because they are carrying it out under the guidance or supervision of their authority. So they are not ultimately responsible. Can Arjuna be responsible for the killing of the war? No. Why? Because he acted under the instruction of Krishna. So he is ultimately responsible for the war. Krishna. Everything is dependent on the supreme will, the super soul and the supreme personality of Godhead. You have a question? Okay, ask.
Then that our endeavor is also a part, means
Of course.
factor.
Of course.
Our endeavor is means
One of the factor.
So it is, Prabhuji, here in a purport, it was mentioned that our endeavor is coming through our desires. Our
Where it is written in the purport here? That the vivid cheshta, na prithak cheshta.
yeah, means
Normally the cheshta is, the endeavor is based on desire only. True.
so
What is
Prabhuji,
the desire? What is the desire? Desire is to enjoy. Why one works? Because through work, he will get the opportunity to fulfill his desire. And what is his mindset? That if he gets his desire fulfilled, he'll be happy or he'll be in an enjoyable position. Yes, these are the 5 factors Krishna is detailing here for any and every action in the conditioned stage. And
So
what
Prabhuji-
happens? That this, okay, let me complete. Please get a full view or comprehension. So these 5 factors will force one. What? For anishtam, ishtam, mishram. But Prabhupada is contrasting here that he who is acting in Krishna consciousness under the direction of the super soul. And how is the direction of super soul coming? Through his authorized representative, the spiritual master. For him, this situation will not come. Why? Because he is guided by the super soul directly. Then the results or experience of it in the next life will not happen. Okay, go ahead.
So Prabhuji, my question was that our mind is also involved in doing any
Yes.
work.
Yes, who is the controller of the senses?
Rishikesha.
No, mind.
Yeah.
Shikesha is only controller of the senses of a surrendered devotee, not for a conditioned soul. Conditioned soul is guided by his karma. How does karma work? Through the agency of 3 modes. And whatever is the influence of the 3 modes, accordingly he will work. That is the situation of his mental state. So what are you trying to inquire on Prithak Cheshta?
That was only my question, that our mind is also involved in doing any work.
Of course. It's a major instrument. Krishna has already answered them. Krishna also spoke, Mana Shasthani Indriyani Prakati Sthane Karshati. So mind is the 6th sense. And here Krishna is already saying Karanam. So what is Karanam? Karanam is the senses. The Prabhupada writes it. The instruments of the actions are the senses. And by the senses, the soul acts in various ways. And for each and every action, there is different endeavor. So, of course, mind is a major instrument. That is already included in Karanam. Okay? I want to take one more. Okay, yes, there should go.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, the super soul is the supreme lord is the supreme super cause.
Ah.
All activities.
How is the super cause?
Because he is reminding Prabhuji, he is reminding the soul.
Yes, reminding. He gives both memory and forgetfulness. So he is the guiding principle. Okay. I will take one more verse. It's a big to cover 78 verses. And how many days are left? And in between, there will be some time where I will not be able to give class. And Pradeep Prabhu, the invitation must come by 10. How many times I have to tell you that? It's really, annoying. One small service is to be done. And that also we don't, Remember? In case, if I am not able to take the class, I will give it on the write-up or I'll tell Dayashil Prabhu to select some lecture. People are busy, Baba. They have their own engagement, they have their own, so many things to do. Especially those who are sincerely following Krishna consciousness. The first thing is that there is so much struggle for time. Morning is absorbed in chanting Hare Krishna. So if you don't give the invitation, that means there is no class. Okay. Is it very difficult service?
No, Prabhu.
Then Shariravan Manobhirya Karma Prarabhate Nara Nayayam va Viparyetam va Pancheta Tasya Hetava. Whatever right or wrong action a man performs by body, mind or speech is caused by these 5 factors. So whatever right or wrong a man performs by body is kaya, mind is manasa, and speech is vacha. Vacha, kaya, and manasa. So these 5 factors are responsible. The word right and wrong are very significant in this verse. Right work is done in terms of the prescribed directions in the scriptures, and the wrong work is done against the principles of the scripture intentions. Yeah. So it can also be said pious and impious. But whatever is done requires these 5 factors for its complete performance. So we should not be foolish. So these 5 factors are the complete reason or the complete factors which push the performer to act in a certain way, either piously or not piously. I'll take one more verse to complete this section. Tatrevayam sati kartaram atmanam kevalam tuya pashyati akrita buddhitvan nasa pashyati durmati. Therefore, one who thinks himself the only doer. That is why what Krishna said, ahankara vimhulatma karta hamiti mande. That means one who is thinking himself. What is the self? The body, mind, or senses as the doer. Not considering the 5 factors is certainly not very intelligent. Krishna is very liberal here. Previously he said is a vimul atma. The atma is everlastingly fooled by lust. But here he is saying he is not an intelligent person and cannot see things as they are. Therefore, one who thinks himself the only doer, not considering the 5 factors, is certainly not very intelligent and cannot see things as they are. A foolish person cannot understand that the super soul is sitting as a friend within and conducting his actions. Although the material causes are the place, the worker, the endeavor of the senses, and the final cause is supreme, the personality of Godhead. Therefore, one should see not only the 4 material causes, but the supreme efficient cause as well. What is the supreme efficient cause? Unmute and speak. Boliye?
What is the Supreme Lord?
Not the Supreme Lord. No, not the super soul. The super soul thinks himself to be the doer. Okay, so I'll stop here and we'll recite the 15th chapter. So we have done till 16 verses. So Krishna is saying that one, so what is our training in Krishna consciousness is to become detached. And one who has not learned this art of detachment, so welcome to receive next body. And in next body, he will be forced to anishtam, ishtam, mishram cha, to receive all kinds of impious or unfavorable situations. And in all those unfavorable, some will become favorable so that he can continue to struggle. Like you have seen, Prabhupada gives an example. If someone is drowning, if he just sings, he will just drown. But he does not drown like that. When he is drowning, in between sometimes his neck will come up and we'll be able to take some breaths. And that breath will enable him to survive and struggle more. That is what material existence is. Hare Krishna. Any question on what we discussed today? Very important 5 factors. And what are the 3 kinds of result? So conditioned life means 3 results. Anishtam, Ishtam, and Mishram. So anisht is anisht, unfavorable. And amongst the midst of unfavorable, there is something which is favorable. And again, then there is something which is Mishram. So within the favorable is also unfavorable. So just suffer. Material existence means just suffering. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha Urdhvamulam Madhashakam Ashvatham Prahuravyaya Chandamsi Yasya Parnani Yastam Veda Saveda Ved Adascha Urdham Prasatastasya Shakha Guna Pravriddha Vishaya Pravala Adascha Mulani Anushantatani कर्मानुबंधेन मनुष्य लोके न रूपमस्य ततोपलभ्यते नान्तो न चादिर्न च संप्रतिष्ठा अश्वत्थेनां सुविरूढमूलम् असंगशस्त्रेण दृढेन चित्वा तदा पदं तत्परिमार्गितव्यम् यस्मिन् गता नान्निवर्तन्ति भूयः तमेव चाद्यं पुरुषं प्रपद्ये यथा प्रवृत्ति प्रसता पुराणे निर्माण मोहा जित संग दोषः अध्यात्म नित्या विनिवृत्त कामा द्वंद्वे विमुक्ता सुख दुख संगे गच्छन्ति अमूढ़ा पदमव्ययम् तत् ना तद्भास्यते सूर्यो ना शशांको न पावका यद्गत्वा न निवर्तन्ते तद्धाम परमं मम ममेवांशो जीवलोके जीवभूता सनातना मनःषष्ठानि इन्द्रियाणि प्रकृतिस्थाने काशति शारीरं यदवाप्नोति यच्चापि उत्क्रमत ईश्वर गृहत्वेतानि संयाति वायुगन्धानि वासेत् श्रोत्रं चक्षुस्पर्शनं च रसनं ग्रहणमेव च अधिष्ठाय मनश्चायं विषयानुपसेवते उत्क्रामन्तं स्थितं वापि भुञ्जानं वा गुणान्वितं विमूढानानुपश्यन्ति पश्यन्ति ज्ञानचक्षुषा यतन्तो योगिनश्चैनं पश्यन्ति आत्मनि अवस्थितं यतन्तो अपि यत्कृतात्मानो नैनं पश्यति अचेतसा यदादित्यागतं तेजो जगद्भास्यते अखिलं यच्चन्द्रमसि यच्चाग्नो तत्तेजो विधिमामकम् गामाविश्य च भूतानि Dharayami ahamojasa pushnami chausadi sarva sumo bhutva rasatmaka aham vaishvanaro bhutva praninam dehamashrita pranayapana samayukta pachami annam chaturvidha sarvasya chaham hridasannivishto matta smritirgyanamapohanam cha Vedescha sarve rahameva vedyo Vedanta kritved videva chahu Dvaima purusho loke Sharaschakshareva cha Shara sharvani bhutani kutasto aksharuchate Uttama purushastu anya Paramatmeti udarata Ya loke trayamavishya Vivarti avyayishvara Yasma sharamati toham Aksharadapi chottama Toasmi lokvedecha Pratita purushottama Yomamevam sammudho Janati purushottama Sa sarvida bhajati mam Sarva bhavena bharata Iti guhyatamam shastram Idam uktva maya naga Etad buddha buddhimanasya Krita kritascha bharata Om Tat Saditi Srimad Bhagavad Gītā Shu Upanishadsu Brahma Vidyaya Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Panchadasho Shri Purushottam Yoga Namadhyaya Hare Krishna. We will continue tomorrow from the next section. How the modes control all the activities. So please deliberate and contemplate on what Krishna is speaking. That if we do not learn the art of detachment, then what will be the result in next life? And what are the 5 factors which are responsible for each and every action that we perform? Hare Krishna.